Okay, so in this video I want to show you how I changed over this Plano 42-inch tactical case. It's an all-weather case into my ice fishing rod holder. So I already did this once, and so I'm kind of redoing it just so you didn't have to see all the painstaking mistakes that I made, but I will tell you about them as we go along. So first of all, it comes just like this with the keys and the instructions on how to work this. This is a 2-inch foam insert, and then it's got all these removable little squares that I will show you in more detail after I take them out. I've already taken all this stuff out and I messed up on it the first time, so then I had to redo things. And so I kind of wanted to show you specifically how I did it so that if you want to do it the same way, you don't have to make the same mistakes that I made. So the first thing that you're wanting to do, obviously, or that I did, is to lay the fishing rods in here. I was hoping to get 8 fishing rods. As it turned out, I ended up getting 6 comfortably, but I did find a way that I'd probably be able to get in 8 as well. This 2-inch foam has a kind of a perimeter where you can't break it apart, and then the inside are these little half-inch squares that are half-inch little squares that go down 2 inches that you can pull apart and that are connected to each other. So if you don't want to make the mistakes that I did, you don't want to pull them apart until you know exactly the direction you're going to go. Although even if you do, you can still put things back in. They're just not going to be well connected and keeping their place like you originally wanted. So I put these in, measured out the distance between the front and the back of the reel, and then took this part out. This is what I'm talking about here. 2 inches long, these little squares, and they're all connected to each other. So when you break them apart, kind of go like that. And so, like I said, if you want to do it, right the first way, you don't want to do it like I did. I just tore into it and I didn't really measure everything out. So after I did this, for all my ice fishing reels, this worked pretty well. There's, let's see, there's seven in from the outside. 7 of these squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is where I started. And then I believe this was 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I went in and I took that out. So a row of 5. Did the same thing over on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a row of 5. Again, I already did this, that's why it's coming out so easy. Normally it wouldn't, you would have to tear these apart a little bit, but it still comes out very, very easily. So let me show you how I then put this in. Right there. Switch over to this side. One right there. One right there. Here. Now these are kind of touching each other and so on, but one thing I found is that it really doesn't matter, because once this thing sets down, they're set down so tight that they do not move around, and I am not worried at all about these rods pinching on each other or breaking. Okay, so that's basically 6 rods right there. I'm actually going to adjust it a little bit differently. I think I had it like this. So that was kind of my original setup, and then I was thinking, well, there's a lot of wasted space right here, and it'd be nice to get in some of these tackle boxes, and these tackle boxes are just these normal Plano cases. I don't even see. Plano cases are 11 by about 8 with these hinges. And what I've done with these is taken this foam that comes with just about anything as far as electronics or printers or anything, and I've cut them down and then put some knife marks in here, and then they work really well with holding these ice fishing baits and being able to get a lot in there without them getting all tangled up, like this one is right now, getting all tangled up with each other. So I want to be able to use these where I don't have to have a bunch of extra cases if I don't need to. And usually when you're going to a spot, you know exactly what you're fishing for, so you can change tackle around and just bring the ones that you need. So then I wanted to see how many I could get in here. We're going to take these out. And this is where I really messed up the first time. I actually had these back too far, and so my tackle boxes were all messed up, and being able to line it up this way gave me more room on the back side, which I will show you why it's valuable to have that later. Okay, so I laid this in here, kind of measured it out. I want it, obviously because it's foam, I want it to be in there nice and tight so it doesn't sit there and bounce around. So what did we go with? We went 3 in from the reels, 3 in, and then this whole section was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 squares that way. Same on this side, 3 in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now we've got a row of 2 in the middle, and that is pretty much, yeah, that's right in the middle of the case. So that works out real nice. And now you can get these in. Now if you want a little bit more protection for your fishing rods, you can you know, put a row down here, and I might just do that just at least, let's see, I think I'll do a row of 2. See how that works first? Well, that's a little high, so we're just going to go a row of 1. Obviously these are going to move around a little bit. But it'll give you just a little bit more protection with your rods, although I do not think they're going to be bouncing around anyway. But since you got them, why not? Why not use them? Alright, so let's get those rods back in there. This one all the way up to the top. Well, these are obviously going to work a little bit better too if they're not loaded, and even if you were able to get your line all the way down to just around the reel. But as we all know, a lot of times we're going out ice fishing, we're heading out really early, we're out on the lake and it's still dark, and I don't really want to be tying a bunch of jigs and stuff when that's the case. I'm going to move these around. That one fits a little bit better right there, and this one fits real nice right there. Okay. So we're spacing out the rods so that they're not laying on top of each other. And then the last 2 rods, now this I found to be really helpful, is if you have any rods where the back end is shorter, and actually these are going to be, you're going to be able to use this better if you don't have these long handles on the back end. If you have the shorter handles, you're going to be able to use this much better as far as the space, and I'll show you why. Okay, so now I've got these all in place, ready for travel. And if we wanted to go just with this, these would be just fine. The only thing that's clicking right there is the the snap, not anything inside. These things are not moving at all. This case is really solid. It's got the rubber insert, so it's waterproof. Nothing's going to get in there. These did not move at all, right? Okay, so we got extra room here, and I'm really big into trying to get as much tackle as possible in there. So what I did is I took a couple different ice fishing small tackle boxes. This one I believe is a clam. No, it's not clam. Trophy angler. And this is one that's good for jigs, but also these are pretty standard Planos that you can get just about anywhere. And so I measured these out on the same, or on both sides, and that's where these short handles come into play. That really allows you to use that space. So these were three squares across, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this gives a little bit more, there's a little bit of wiggle room there, which is more than I want, but when you get this on it, it's not moving. We did the same thing on this side, and this Plano fits a little bit tighter fit, and that's really not going to move at all. So I've got 2 small tackle boxes, 2 decent, mid-sized tackle boxes, and these Planos, these come in a lot of different kinds. So, I mean, the standard size you can also get with a lot of little breakdowns if you have bigger lures and you don't want to do it like I made it there with the foam. So, as you can see, that all fits in nice and snug. It's not pinching on anything, which is quite perfect for what I was looking for. Like I said originally, or I don't know if I did say this, I've been thinking this. Originally I wanted to get 8 rods in here. And so I did want to show you that there would be a way to do that. You wouldn't be able to have them all set up, at least the way that I was been working on it. I haven't been able to find a way to get them all set up yet. However, if you were to take apart your fishing rods and you just had a reel, you could get that reel right in here on either side, and when you just have the rod, it's much easier to just put that right in there, and I'm sure we'd have one that could come in this side and do the same thing on this side, and of course just fine, goes in. So this is a way to use one of these tactical, all-weather tactical weapon gear and modify it for ice fishing. I hope this was helpful. I wish I wouldn't have messed up the first time around, but I'm trying to show you exactly what I did, so if you want to do this for yourself, you can do it without making the same mistakes I did. So, and again, if you want the best one available, like I said, this was $40 online with $20 shipping, so a total of $60. If you have the money and can go for the best one available, I really encourage you to look at the Ice Fishing Innovations, and I believe it's just that icefishinginnovations.com. If I can figure out how to put the link underneath, then I will do that. $149 for theirs, $20 shipping, and theirs is really excellent. I encourage you to take a look at their website. So thank you for watching, and happy ice fishing.